Before many crimes happen, criminals rarely act immediately. They observe, they study, they wait. Most people imagine criminals making sudden decisions. But in reality, many attacks are the result of careful observation. Criminals often watch locations where people become predictable, places where attention drops, places where routines repeat every day. Today we will look at 5 common places criminals often observe before choosing a target. Understanding these locations can help you increase awareness and reduce vulnerability, because awareness is one of the strongest tools in personal security. The first place criminals often observe is parking lots. Parking lots create opportunities for observation. People arrive distracted. They search for keys. They check their phones. They move between vehicles with a limited attention to their surroundings. For someone observing, parking lots reveal useful information. They can see when people arrive. They can see when people leave. They can see who parks alone. They can see which vehicles appear regularly. Sometimes criminals simply sit inside a vehicle and watch patterns. They learn routines. They notice who is distracted. They notice when the area becomes quiet. This is why awareness in parking areas is important. Take a moment to scan the environment before entering or leaving your car. Simple awareness can reduce vulnerability. The second place criminals watch is entrances and exits of buildings. Entrances create predictable movement. People enter through the same doors. They exit through the same paths. Over time, routines form. Someone observing these entrances can learn a lot. They can see when people arrive for work. They can see that when people leave late. They can see who enters alone. They can see who appears distracted. Entrances also reveal security habits. Are cameras visible? Are security guards present? Do people pay attention to their surroundings? These small details help criminals evaluate risk. This is why being aware when entering or leaving buildings is important. A brief glance around can reveal a lot about your environment. The third place criminals observe is public transportation areas. Bus stops, train stations, taxi pickup points. These locations gather many people with predictable schedules. People wait. They check their phones. They focus on arrival times. Attention often drops. Someone observing these areas can identify routines quickly. They notice who arrives every morning. They notice who waits alone. They notice who seems distracted. Public transportation areas are predictable because people follow schedules. Being aware of the people around you can make a difference. Sometimes simply looking around can discourage unwanted attention. The fourth place criminals watch is ATMs and financial locations. ATMs create moments of vulnerability. People focus on transactions. Their attention is on the machine. They often become unaware of what is happening behind them. Criminals sometimes observe these locations from a distance. They watch who approaches the ATM. They watch who withdraws cash. They watch when people leave. Sometimes observation happens for several days. They try to understand patterns. They want to know when the area becomes quiet. This is why awareness at financial locations is important. Look around before approaching the machine and remain aware of your surroundings during transactions. The fifth place criminals observe is quiet residential streets. Residential areas may feel safe because they are familiar, but familiarity can sometimes reduce awareness. Criminals may observe houses from parked vehicles. They watch when people leave for work. They watch when houses become empty. They watch when residents return. Over time, they learn routines. Which houses stay empty during the day? Which houses receive visitors? Which houses appear unoccupied? This is why small security habits matter. Lighting, cameras, visible activity, even small changes can reduce the attractiveness of a target, because criminals prefer environments where observation goes unnoticed. Understanding these locations does not mean living in fear. It means recognizing patterns. Criminals often rely on predictability. They rely on people becoming comfortable. They rely on moments when attention drops. But awareness changes that dynamic. When someone appears alert, observant, and aware, they become a more difficult target. Sometimes, small actions make the biggest difference. Looking around occasionally, avoiding deep distraction in public spaces, changing small routines. These habits reduce predictability. And when predictability decreases, risk decreases. How criminals use observation. Observation is one of the simplest tools criminals use. It requires no special equipment. Sometimes it only requires patience. Someone may sit in a parked vehicle. Someone may stand near a street corner. Someone may appear to be waiting for a ride. But while they appear inactive, they are watching. They observe movement patterns. They notice when people arrive. They notice when people leave. They watch how individuals behave in certain environments. Over time, patterns begin to form. These patterns help criminals understand when someone is most vulnerable. And when vulnerability appears predictable, planning becomes easier. Why criminals prefer predictable targets? Criminals usually avoid uncertainty. They prefer situations where the outcome feels predictable. If someone follows the same routine every day, the pattern becomes clear. If someone always parks in the same place, the pattern becomes clear. If someone walks the same route every evening, the pattern becomes clear. Predictability removes surprises. And criminals prefer environments with fewer surprises. This is why even small changes in routine can make a difference. Changing your route occasionally, parking in different areas when possible, varying the time you leave or return home. These small adjustments disrupt patterns. And when patterns become unreliable, observation becomes less useful. Situational awareness. Situational awareness is one of the most powerful habits for personal security. It simply means understanding what is happening around you, not in a paranoid way, but in a calm and observant way. Looking around occasionally, noticing who is nearby, paying attention to unusual behavior. Many people move through public spaces while completely focused on their phones. They walk without looking around. They remain unaware of their surroundings. But awareness changes perception. Someone who appears alert often discourages unwanted attention. Sometimes, the simple act of looking around signals that you are aware, and awareness alone can make someone a less attractive target. Small habits that increase safety. Improving personal security does not require complicated strategies. Often, small habits make the biggest difference. When walking in public areas, occasionally observe the people around you. When entering parking lots, scan the area before approaching your vehicle. When using financial machines like ATMs, remain aware of your surroundings. When arriving home, take a moment to notice the environment before exiting your car. These small habits increase awareness, and awareness reduces vulnerability. Security is often about small adjustments in behavior. Over time, those adjustments can significantly reduce risk. Security is not about being paranoid. It is about being intentional. Pay attention to your surroundings. Recognize the environments where observation often happens, and make small adjustments to your habits. Because awareness disrupts planning. And when planning becomes difficult, many threats disappear before they even begin. Stay observant. Stay unpredictable. Stay ahead. This is the Security Brief.